This is 5 Minute Feng Shui, episode 59. Feng Shui and Spirituality. This is a lengthy episode, and unfortunately, due to recent software updates, we apologize in advance for the sound quality. Welcome to the 5 Minute Feng Shui podcast, where each week I talk about how to move energy and make money. You'll learn how to create a prosperous home and an abundant life using classical Chinese Feng Shui. I'm your host, Katie Weber, publisher of the Red Lotus Letter, Feng Shui Easing for Wealth. Each week, I'll cover Feng Shui topics that can help you improve your life, share inspiring stories, and always end with 3 easy-to-implement Feng Shui tips that you can put to work right away, and usually in about 5 minutes. Now let's get started on the 5 minutes that could change your life. All right, well, I tell you what, this has been a really beautiful weekend for me. I had a fabulous weekend of just actually getting to relax and enjoy the weather. I hope you're having a beautiful fall right now and getting a chance to really slow down and absorb and enjoy the changes of nature and the beauty that brings with it. I know I certainly am. And today I'm going to be talking about religion. And a lot of people ask if Feng Shui is a religion, or they just tell me Feng Shui is a religion. And they often will ask me if I believe in Feng Shui. And I tell them, no, I don't. I don't have to believe in it for it to work. It just is. It just does. And I believe in God. I don't have to believe in Feng Shui. And so there's really not any kind of area where it crosses a line for me, other than what I am trying to do when I'm trying to create my home or help others create their home in a way that supports them and makes them comfortable and live their best lives, basically. And when I think about Feng Shui as a religion, many times people will talk about rituals and that kind of thing. And that's one of the things that I don't really get too involved with. In Feng Shui, I really like to look at color and elements like plants and water, ways that we can make our home comfortable. So that's really not part of, I'm not big into house worship. I don't think we need to make our home into like a temple because actually that's not a home. A home is alive. A home has children running in it and kids running in and out of the door or dogs barking. It's alive and it has energy. And we want a home that's alive and has energy because we need energy. And that's what the idea behind Feng Shui is, to give us energy that helps propel us in our lives. So we're going to talk about, I want to talk about the idea that spirituality and religion and beliefs actually they don't run counter to Feng Shui. Now, of course, if you're of the mindset that you have to have belief or faith in Feng Shui, well, then it might run counter to your religion, but I don't believe that, and I certainly don't think that is the basis or foundation of Feng Shui. But what I do believe is the foundation and the basis of Feng Shui is what you put out into the world, what you put out into your home, and how you go about treating your life and your home. And that's why I'm excited about today and our guests. We have today, I'm interviewing Lisa Hromada. And did I say that right, Lisa?
You did, yes.
Close enough? Good. All right. Well, Lisa is someone who has been a part of the Red Lotus Letter family for quite some time. She is the graphic artist that makes me look good. And I am so grateful because with her beautiful eye and design, she can take some of the ugliest things that I throw out there and make them shine like a new penny. And I'm so grateful for her attention to detail and ability to make me look good. And so I have a lot of appreciation for what she does. Now, Lisa recently published 2 books. Now, for a lot of folks, publishing 1 book is a major hurdle. No. This lady published 2, one right on the heels of another. So really an impressive ability to get get content out, and to do it in such a way that these books that she's written are so they're really such foundational concepts about love, about God, about spirituality and religion. And I'm so excited for her to talk with you today and be on this podcast today, because I think that she's going to bring a different perspective. Now, I want to introduce you, give you the formal introduction. Lisa Hromada is a speaker of timeless spiritual teachings and shares a simple yet profound message. You have all you need to create the life of your choosing. She's the author of Love is the Seed, Teachings from the Spirit World, and the Three Supreme Gifts, a practical approach to self-mastery and to transforming your life here and now. She brings a balanced approach to the teachings from Spirit, helping you to understand how to create a more beneficial life here and now. Her website is loveistheseed.com. And with that, I'd like to welcome Lisa Hromada to the podcast today. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me on. It's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, I think so too. First of all, it's exciting that you have written 2 books. Can you tell everybody a little bit about the books, kind of how they came about, and how this all came to be?
Sure. Well, when I was a little over a year and a half old, my father began to receive messages from the spirit world. He had been meditating every morning and every afternoon before coming home from work. And he came home one day and he was telling my mother about these experiences that he had been having while in meditation. And that particular afternoon, he was asked to pick up a pen and write. And he realized that he was not the one doing the writing. And so he needed my mother to sit with him starting that night and from then on and take note of whatever came through. And what came through was various souls and wise ones, all eager to share messages with all of us having this human experience for the benefit of mankind, basically. And so sometimes it was question and answer between my father and the spirits, and they would answer. And sometimes it was just these souls and wise ones coming through just to share these messages to let us know how we can basically improve our lives here and now, and what it really means to be soul having a human experience and how we can really benefit from that the most.
Wow, being a soul having a human experience. I love that. I think that's right. Yeah, because I think we're spirit beings, and we're trying to navigate this whole life and world and everything. That's amazing. So I know I'm going to say the thing that everyone might be thinking, and that is, it's a lot like Edgar Cayce in some ways, your dad.
That's true, and actually Edgar Cayce came through on a couple of occasions within these sessions, and he actually shared messages regarding love. He has this quote within the book. I don't have the exact verbatim, quote here, but it basically says that love cannot really be defined. You can't really put it into words. That's what love is. You still can't put it into full words. It's just the way it is. That's just who we are. It's just the creation of everything.
That's remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. Well, I love, the books are tremendous. And we were just discussing before we went on the air about how the messages in here are very, very deep. They're very meaningful. They really speak to this core soul level that we all have, that we are all on. And so these are absolutely, I think, like a type of book that you should have. It's like your map for your soul. And how often do you see that type of publication? You just don't. So I think that in itself is in terms of having a guide for you as a spirit person, as a soul, is just remarkable. And these books are, it's like I'm trying to think of a word. It's a basic, like having a dictionary in your home, or a medical book. It's just like something should be a part of every library. How to, it's like what to expect when you're expecting, what to expect when you're a soul.
Right. Right.
What to expect when you're.
For me, it's like when you go through it, especially with Love is the Seed, because those are the raw sessions within there. that when you're going through it, there's so many things that are answered within there that people are likely asking themselves or have asked themselves throughout this life, throughout this journey, right? And
Yes.
soul searching, right?
Yes.
And so there's so many things that you can get, that you can take away from it within each one of the sessions. And I think that even for me, I go back to these sessions and I just read a session, and again, it brings something back. There's a knowing, like what I often talk about is this definition of soul as knower self.
The knower.
Knower self.
Yes,
Right.
I read that.
You come into this life with a certain level of knowing because of lifetime after lifetime of human experience. And so when we read these sessions, there's something within us that knows the truth of it, or that there's a piece of it that's something that's resonating with us that then we can implement in our life, or that something becomes more clear.
And that is such a great explanation, because, I like, for instance, raising my son, if he did something that he knew, that he did something wrong, and I'd have to correct him, and I'd say, but hon, I know that was wrong. I know that. And I love that idea of the knower, and that was something that jumped out and leapt out at me, and it made so much sense, because even I can still remember, even as a child, having thoughts that were not childlike, but having a knowingness as a child, going, well, that's not right. Well, that shouldn't be that way, or and so that brings that thread of the continuation, or the continuum that our soul and our spirit's on.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree with that? Is that?
I do.
Yeah.
I do agree with that. Yeah, there's just a certain level of knowing, like especially when it comes to, let's say, motherhood. We didn't go to school to learn how to be a mother, but there's a knowingness. There's something that's innate, and I think that's just one example of knowingness, sort of that intuition, that creative inspiration. When you write a poem, at some point the poem begins to write itself because of this flow that goes through you. There's a knowingness. There's something within you that is being brought out.
Yes, it's sort of a spirit connection, soul connection.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that continuum. Well, everyone is listening in today here to listen and to talk about home and your spirit, and as it relates to your home, because I do think, even though I say that Feng Shui, I don't believe in Feng Shui. It's not I don't believe in house worship. It's I think that our home is here to support us and our lives, and help us and our families, and I'm a big believer that so much starts here at home. We're raised in our home. Our celebrations are here. Our sadness is here. Our families. We raise our families in our home, and it contributes to that environment that we live in. Contributes to our happiness or unhappiness. And so I wanted to talk about a little bit. I know that might be kind of woo woo and out there. Like, wow, you're connecting spirit and home together. But I don't know that they're so disconnected. Would you go along with that, Lisa?
I don't see them being disconnected at all. I think everything is connected. I think, from the way that I look at it, is that when it comes to, like, let's say, both love and love and spirituality, it's about feeling a connection, right? And when it comes right down to it, connection is about energy. And I know you talk a lot about energy. I know you've talked about a lot about energy in your previous newsletters, right?
Right.
And love, from a divine perspective, is an energy that is always in motion. What's said in the book is that it's the very seed of all creation and at the seed of who we are. And then when we think about spirituality, what we're talking about is this connection to the love inherent within us. And when we feel this connection, we feel a sense of peace and comfort and belonging. And that's the way I see that we should feel, or be able to feel, within our homes as well. Our home should reflect this sense of peace, comfort, and belonging.
Yeah, and here's my question for you. And it's one of the, as you're saying that, this is coming, thoughts are bubbling in my mind,
Mm-hmm.
and what I'm thinking is how do you feel that the environment supports that peace and sense of belonging? And if it doesn't, what is that impact on you in your spirit, in your soul level?
Well, because we're connecting, basically because everything is connected, everything from the things we live in our homes, the people we are around, everything has their own form of energy. They all have their own form of vibration. And and so when we're constantly interacting with everything within our home, whether we realize it or not, we can think of walking into a room and instantly feeling, uneasy, or we can feel at peace, and we know by the way that we feel when we walk into a room. And what I know from discussions with spirit is that the main reason why we feel this is because of this energy, our interaction with the energy of everything that's around us. And I know that when I walk into a room, if it's gotten to the point of too cluttery, or I notice the dust. I mean, there's something that makes us feel a certain way, right?
Right.
And we feel like if this is not cleaned up, then I can't. My creativity is blocked. I feel as if I'm not taking care of myself because my environment seems to reflect me. And so that's the way I see that this is all connected and how it interacts with us.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's and you're right. I think in terms of that energy connection, we have this sort of, I think we're in this sort of river of energy all the time. Whether that, and there's multiple rivers of energy. We know that. I mean, we're in energy at all moments, and that energy is at all various levels. Whether we're under the influence of gravity right now. We're being held to the floor. We've got that going on. We've got radio waves going on, and we've got spirit energy coming through us. We have a river of energy that, for Feng Shui purposes, is called Qi. And that means that, there's energy, like you were saying, that you either have like clutter that's making you feel like it's blocking your creativity and that kind of thing. And that energy can make a difference in terms of how it either flows or doesn't flow. And then that affects that kind of comes back to us. So when you think about Feng Shui, and you think about what I read something in the book here in Love is the Seed, and it says when the soul is wise and is projecting love, the soul can also be creating for the reward of creating something that fulfills the desires and needs of the soul. And it says the wisest understand that what is created from the heart, the honest integrity from within, given freely to all, receives the same multiplied many times. And that's kind of a concept of, if I put out my best effort at my home to create a home that supports my family, that helps me be effective in my life, that it goes out and then it comes back. And so, and I'm seeing that there's that reward in terms of my career is improving, my relationships are going well,
Right.
and
Right.
and do you see that as having any kind of a spirit or a benefit to our spirit and our inner connected soul?
Exactly what you said is exactly true. Meaning that what they say too is the ultimate energy and the ultimate thought is this energy of love given. They talk about two sides to love given and love held closely. So basically what you're talking about is this aspect of love given as a love received, that whatever you give out is returned to you. Whatever object within your home, whatever that's giving out, whatever your interpretation is of that particular object, let's say, it says whatever you give out is always returned to you. Those are good feelings, if you're giving out in a good way, if it's making you feel good, then you ultimately get the rewards from that. And then they talk about love held closely, and in this way, the way that I explain it, typically is we hold love closely to ourselves, so we're not fully giving of ourselves, we're not fully being authentic, or we're not fully reflecting the trueness of who we are. And so that's exactly true, what you're saying about the things within our home. Everything is giving and receiving. That's how life and that's how everything in creation functions harmoniously. It's this aspect of a love given is a love received. They make an analogy, an interesting analogy within the book, speaking about a tree, and they make the analogy of the tree being us and the fruit of the tree being love. And what happens when we freely give of our fruit, then those who consume the fruit freely water the tree, and the tree is able to bear more fruit and give it out. And so they make that relationship between the fruit and love, us giving of love. And when we give of love, it is received and it's given back to us no matter what.
Right. And so it's sort of this like a cycle of sorts of, you continue to give out energy as people receive that energy or love, and then they give back to you, and it's a reciprocal kind of nature, and this can happen in a home as well, I think, because if we're intentional about it. But I think the problem, and here's my question, is there's that transactional aspect about Feng Shui, about spirit that people have about, well, if I do this, then if I pray this many times, or I do these certain things, or say these certain prayers, then I'm absolved of of whatever I did that was wrong of me, or what have you. Or if I move this frog here, I'm going to create more money for myself, or a better job opportunities are going to come to me. And one of the things that is we look at sort of Feng Shui from like a three-legged stool. That one leg is what is your the energy that just is there for you, your karma, and then there's or you can call it three types of luck, and then there's the luck of the earth, which is how I arrange my house, and then there's the luck of you, which is what you do, what you choose to do. Mm-hmm. And that if somebody just goes and puts a frog somewhere, they're not going to probably win the lottery. It's just probably not going to happen. And so I guess my question for you is, what's your sense of people doing something for Feng Shui just to get an effect, but without doing that part of giving of themselves?
Right.
Because that's that love thing, right? Is that producing the fruit?
That's that love thing, but also what they repeat over and over again in the sessions is this aspect of love, thought, and free will. And so this aspect, let's say, of free will, then, from a divine perspective, is giving some a place, or embodying or living from a place of this empowerment of love, the love inherent within us. You can think of it as this love given is a love received, which is the ultimate love, the love of God. And then from this empowerment of thought, meaning that in this energy of solutions, this harnessing the power of our thoughts so that they don't cause us suffering. And your environment also contributes to the thoughts that you think and the emotions that you feel. And then this aspect of free will then is when you live from this embodiment of love and thought in these first supreme gifts, is that then you can create tangible results in your life that are wholly beneficial, meaning whole and complete. So meaning that it benefits both you and others. So when what you're saying is that when they just have the intention, okay, I'm going to place this frog here because I want it to, I want it to bring me all this money in the world, their intention is not in the right place. Their intention is let's say, love held closely, right?
Right.
And what are they willing to contribute to? What steps are they willing to take in order to, let's say, bring more abundance into their life. You know, one thing that I often share with people is this 99%. This is what's in the book too. 99% element of divinity, which states for every one step we take, God takes 99 steps for our benefit. So we are required to do what is in our control and in our abilities to take steps towards what we want to bring into our life. And then this energy of love, this, the energy of God takes 99 steps for our benefit. So however this is meant to come to fruition for us, let's say more abundance, we're only required to do just those first steps that are within our control, that's in this, let's say, energy of love given, where we're doing it from a good intention, a loving heart.
Yes. And that's sort of that intentional part about Feng Shui, I think, too, that I think resonates with a lot of people, is that this is what I intend to do. But many times people, they don't think about that intentional aspect about, your day-to-day living, and this is how, and being intentional in your thought and in your love.
Right. And I think too what you were expressing is that there's a wishfulness to this, right?
Yes.
Well, I'm going to put this there, and this genie's going to grant my wish, right? I put it there. You see, I put the spot here, right? So where's my abundance? I'm waiting for it. So I know that years ago when I was, when I was looking at these types of things as well, what I didn't understand years ago was the exact messages that I'm sharing today, which is, this is not about wishful thinking. This is about having an understanding that, an understanding, we don't have to have a complete understanding of what energy is. We just have to know how we feel about the environment that we're in, the people who we are around. That's something that we'll know for sure is how we're feeling, right?
Uh-huh.
But that it has to come from these good intentions. It's not about wishful thinking. It's about taking the steps that we can take in order to, get what we desire, and to see how it comes to fruition for us.
Love that. Yeah. There's a quote in the book that I love because it relates to the aspects of how Feng Shui works for us. And the quote is, the human personality relates to the body through various energy centers in the body that normally respond to physical realities known to it. Now, the thinking personality can be controlled or driven by these energy centers that relate to physical and natural environment and make or drive this personality. And I think that I like that it's talking about, your physical reality and how you are, we're products of that, and that it can be, we have energy that relates to, that we think about, and it goes outward. And when we have that energy that goes outward, it comes back to us. Do you have some thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, this quote really speaks to, like you're saying, this connection between our external environment, how our personality then reacts to it, and what happens within the body, so we can feel it, right? And how our external environment can either support the harmony within us or throw us out of balance in different ways. And I know that you've talked a lot about that in relationship to Feng Shui, is it can actually throw us out of balance, right, within our body. We don't feel good, we're not being creative, we can feel like our life is not flowing, right? But we can't pinpoint why. But if we could take a look at our environment, what surrounds us, what is contributing to perhaps how we're feeling, maybe if we do shift a little bit, like we talked about before in other conversations, when we shift our desk a little bit, that it can actually, I know that when I rearranged my living room, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like, I can take on the world. Sometimes that's how I feel, So I just rearranged like this furniture. It seems like, it seems new, it seems fresh. I feel like it maybe flows better. I can walk through a different area that I've never walked through before. And so we know by how we feel right, by our external environment, how that's contributing to how we're feeling inside.
I love that, and to carry on with that thought is in the book on page 134 it says one with one with a positive gives off energy, one with a negative consumes energy.
Right.
A depressed or negative personality needs a positive personality on which to absorb life-giving energy. In other words, that's how we get into these situations with like people who we feel like are draining us, you know, or the one that's got the personality that is draining us might be our home. It could be our home that's draining us. It's interesting to look at it, you know, read the book and look at it from both a spirit perspective and a perspective of the home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you were saying that, it makes me remember how when I go into other people's homes, I get a sense of their personality, right? And how and maybe how they conduct their life. We make certain assumptions, right, by when we go in, and how that's a reflection of their characteristic or their personality, and so I mean, when we think about it from that perspective, and then we take a look at our own home, how do we view that that's reflecting our personality or our the way that we basically function, right? The flow of our life or the flow of our home, and as you know, I mean, as all of your listeners know, the different areas of your home having a certain energy at different points in time and everything. But really coming down to how you view it is it reflecting who you are authentically at that particular time for what you are experiencing in your life. And if it's not reflecting something that's completely authentic, then of course something needs to change, right?
Yeah.
And so it's about taking a look at what's around you. What I looked at is like, okay, I look around the room and I even look at the objects and I'm like, is that really contributing to my sense of, let's say, creativity? And if it's not, I remove that piece and that there's space there. And where there's space, there's an openness for me, within me, it feels like for me, to be more creative. Because there's a space available.
Because that thing was absorbing that energy. Yes, it's consuming.
It's just something that was there, and it wasn't really contributing to anything functional
benefit. Yes,
inspirational.
I love that. Oh gosh, Lisa, I love everything that we've talked about. It is so, it's like my mind is, I hate to, do that whole brain explosion, kind of thing that people do where they do, what is it, mind blown kind of thing.
Yeah, right.
But it's kind of like that. I mean, I was like, you're thinking, I'm thinking on so many different levels of my home, my life, how I'm looking at things. I love absolutely looking at it from that perspective. It's a really, and it's interesting what you said about the wholly beneficial. I love that. Wholly beneficial, not beneficial, wholly, as in in all ways, as in complete and thorough.
Complete, right.
Yes, and that's something that we want to think about. I think that's a really great term, is wholly beneficial, and something that I hadn't thought of before. And I love that you brought that up, because we always want to have our homes, we want it to be wholly beneficial. We want our lives to be beneficial, to be holy. And it's interesting. It's the holy, WHOLLY. It sounds like holy, and it is that energy when it is beneficial like that. Yeah. Well, we're at about 33 minutes. We're a little bit longer than my normal podcast, but I do want to I think finish up with our 3 tips I always leave everyone with each week. But before we do that, I just want to mention really quickly for everybody the names of the books. and that is Love is the Seed and the Three Supreme Gifts. I do think that for anyone who would like to know more about their spirit, and their connection with soul, and really, I do believe that this is a primer for your soul. It really is. I think this is something that it should be, I think, read by anyone who has questions or is questioning life and my spirit and all that kind of those big thoughts. Please do check out loveistheseed.com and Lisa's website. She's got some free gifts and information on there that you can sign up for, and it really fabulous. You can get her books on Amazon. I hope you've enjoyed this conversation. I may have to replay this about 9 times to get everything in there, because it's a lot of fabulous information. And Lisa, I just want to thank you so much for being on today.
Well, thank you so much. It was a really fun conversation.
Yeah, it was. I could talk for 2 hours, but I'm sure there's somebody on their walk right now that's saying, "Hey, I gotta get in and feed the cat." Well, I've got 3 tips I want to leave everybody with. I usually do 5-minute feng shui is the 3 tips that are your takeaways. And number 1 is take steps on your own behalf. It's always important that we don't rely on God, and we don't rely on feng shui to just handle things. And what Lisa was saying, we take 1 step, God takes 99. You do make 1 feng shui change and then take those actions on your behalf, and it's amazing how it compounds and works together that way. I think it's beautiful. Live and work at your feng shui intentionally with that wholly beneficial idea in mind always. I think that is words to live by, no doubt, but also will help you create more of what you want, and in the most positive way in feng shui versus in a very one-dimensional, I want more money kind of way. I think that's really important to understand that, and that where you'll feel more satisfaction with feng shui. And then last is just to remember that a negative energy, this is quoting from the book, a negative energy absorbs energy. So if you have blocks in your life, if you have blocks in your home, maybe you have clutter, things that are stopping you, that this is absorbing your energy. And it's not letting you're not growing on a spirit level, you're not growing in your home and in your life. And so to focus on those positive steps that you can take to bring that positive into your life, so that negative energy doesn't become a drain on you and on your spirit. So be looking at where you can remove those blocks and open up space for your spirit and for your life to grow. All right, everybody, thank you so much for being with us on this fabulous and just thought-provoking 5-minute feng shui. It's been great to have you, and I'll talk to you on the next episode.
Thanks for listening to 5-Minute Feng Shui today. The Year of the Rat is coming, and I want to share with you where you can find money, love, and opportunity in 2020. And it's all in my annual Feng Shui Forecast, the Success Pack. You get a full year of in-depth feng shui details about how to use the energy of the year for success and prosperity. That's because every year we're showered with a Roman candle of opportunities for money, abundance, love, and opportunity. You just have to know where they are. And my Year of the Rat Feng Shui Success Pack includes all the details for every house and every zodiac sign. You also get this year's lucky clothing, handbag, and wallet colors. So be sure to go to redlotusletter.com/rat for all the details on the Year of the Rat and how to make this year the year of your dreams.